Today's notes are about the process of filing taxes. Enjoy this quote from Albert Einstein. I find it ironic. So first, let's talk about the IRS. The Internal Revenue Service is a government department for collecting taxes. Every year, the IRS chooses some taxpayers to audit. Those who cheat on taxes are found guilty of tax evasion. So you really want to be careful that you fill out your taxes correctly. Now, the report you fill out and turn into the IRS each year, that includes all the information that has to do with your income and your taxes. That's called a tax return. Now, most tax return forms are called 1040s. The 1040 Easy is the easiest type of tax return form, and that's the one people tend to choose to do if they don't have their own business or if they don't have a lot of investments in, say, stocks and mutual funds. If their income is only their salary and it's not too complicated, the 1040 Easy is the way to go. There's a lot of different ways you can file your tax returns. You can file taxes with a professional, or you could file taxes through a software program such as TurboTax, or you could go online, print out the 1040 Easy yourself, and just fill it in and save yourself the fee. So whether you fill it all in yourself or go to a professional or use a program kind of depends on how complicated your situation is and how confident you are. I enjoy this one. Typically speaking, taxes are due around April 15th every year. There are some years that are exceptions. For example, years where April 15th falls on a weekend, then they'll move it a couple days later, so it's a weekday, or years when we're dealing with the coronavirus. When you file taxes, you find out how accurate the withholdings on your paycheck and pay stub were. You may end up having to pay more taxes, or you may get money refunded to you because you paid too much. What typically happens is there's enough withheld from your paycheck that 90% of the time most people get a refund instead of having to pay more to meet the end balance. They tend to overestimate withholdings instead of underestimate. Now, in my experience, whenever I've worked for someone else and had a salary and had an amount of money withheld from my paycheck, I've always got a refund. But the years when I worked for myself, because there was no one withholding money from a paycheck for me, then I had to be careful to budget enough so I could pay my taxes in April. For example, when I was doing so much math tutoring during college, in my first year after college, I was essentially running my own tutoring business and working for myself. Then I had to pay a couple $1,000s in April. There are several factors that may affect how much money you get back in your refund. One reason you might get a bigger refund is if you have dependents, people depending on you financially. This most often refers to children, but could, for example, refer to an elderly relative that you take care of in your home. You can also take tax deductions and get more money back if you donated a lot of money to charity and recorded it very carefully, or to balance out the interest paid on mortgages if you bought a home recently, because the government likes to encourage people to buy property and they know it's really expensive, so they'll give you a little bit of a tax break. There's lots of other factors as well, but those are some of the most common ones. The amount of money you have to pay for taxes varies depending on your filing status and your income. Filing status is, for example, whether you're filing as a single person, as a married couple, filing jointly, putting your incomes together. There's a couple of other options like married but filing separately, 2 different tax return forms, and head of household. In 2020, your tax rates or percents of your income they will take out for tax can vary between 10% to 37% based on filing status and income. 10% is if your income is very, very low. Maybe you're only working part-time or a minimum wage job. 37% would be if you're, say, a millionaire. Most people fall in between that, somewhere in the 20% range. That's it for today's notes. Don't forget to turn in a picture of your notes on Schoology when you're done.